In 90% of all school shootings, the shooter was either taking psychotropic drugs or just coming off those drugs that can induce violent behavior. Hello, my name is Dr. Charles Simone. I'm here today to talk to you about a very serious topic, how to stop school shootings. We need a comprehensive prevention 6-point plan to stop the slaughtering of our children and shine light on issues that we rarely hear about. We need to focus on prevention, as we should also in medicine. Taking seriously people who make threats, especially those taking psychiatric medications, is much more important at intervening early and more effective. Fortifying schools with armed officers or enhanced security does not effectively reduce the likelihood of school shootings. Point 1, Big Pharma. 1 of every 5 or more Americans take psychiatric medications. This is a $300 billion a year market. In 90% of all school shootings, the shooter has taken psychotropic drugs or currently takes psychotropic drugs that can induce violent behavior. 31 prescription psychiatric medications induce violent behavior, accounting for 79% of violence cases. How do we know this? By the FDA's own adverse event reporting system. The search words included physical assault, homicide, physical abuse, homicidal ideation, and violence-related symptoms. The word suicide was not even mentioned, and if it were, the numbers would even be higher. We reported on this important topic April 24th, 2015. We'll review some of the trade names as examples of these drugs. First one is Chantix. By far and away, it's 18 times worse than all the others. It's a smoking cessation aid. Number 2, Prozac. Number 3, Paxil. Third are attention deficit disorder drugs like the amphetamines, Adderall. Then comes Ritalin. And other drugs include Ambien, Singular, Seroquel, and oxycodone. But the antidepressant drugs are by far and away the most important that cause and induce violent behavior. These drugs are not even effective. Data submitted to the FDA show that antidepressive agents are ineffective in children and teens aged 9 to 18, and even adults. And even in the most severe cases of major depression for which antidepressants are actually approved, they were not effective compared to placebo. Antidepressants are only approved for age 18 and older, not children, not teenagers, other than 18. But they are inappropriately prescribed off-label to children and teenagers for conditions that are not even approved. Published reports claimed positive results, even though negative trials were either left out or distorted to present positive results. These studies included many small randomized trials with clinically non-relevant conclusions, improper interpretation of statistical significance, and manipulated study design with biased selection of study populations and even short-term follow-up. Suicidal thinking was passed off as emotional liability or worsening depression. And this information was buried deeply in appendices that were available for less than half of the trials submitted to the FDA. And the FDA didn't even look for or ask for the other appendices of the other trials. Big Pharma has promoted a myth that antidepressants are effective by using the same playbook. Get published, hire thought leader doctors to tell other doctors to prescribe, and get the drugs in the pharmacies. Jonathan E. Ward, a constitutional attorney who has won more cases against the FDA than any other attorney in U.S. history, has said this: the financial interest of psychiatry industry is to feed this drug industry. And the drugs industry financial interest is to come up with the agents needed to feed the psychiatric industry. The psychiatric industry then is endlessly engaged in identifying new disorders which can then be treated with psychiatric drugs. Point number 2. The FDA should remove these drugs that induce violent behavior because their mission is simple: protect the public by ensuring the safety, efficacy, and security of human drugs. These drugs are not safe and they are not effective. And until they are removed, physicians should no longer prescribe them.